What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? I'm gonna spit on the track. Guys, I'm excited. It's almost done. I'm gonna have a banner or a countdown, a professional countdown made. I've been having to improvise. It's gonna have like the American flag. It's gonna have me on it. It's gonna be like an official countdown, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. Let's go. Good afternoon. What's up? Inflation avoider. Man, it's been a little hard these last few years for any of us in the world, hasn't it? We've got to outpace inflation with our assets. Let's do it. Two of my favorites. Happy Friday, y'all. Brian, a good friend of mine, guys. Let's get into it. We've got a good little recap show for y'all today. We're going to go over what's going on in the markets. What a week it's been for the markets. I'll just say that. We've had a couple things in crypto doing very well. Bittensor Tau being the main one that's done very well. Kaspa, some other coins did do well. But then everything got freaked out with the market. So we're going to go over what's going on in Iran and if you should run from the markets. We also have a very special guest coming up in a little bit. Crypto Empress, a very good friend of mine. I'll show y'all. This was us at ETH Denver right here. She posted this picture talking crap about me, but I'm not really that short. But we do a lot of work together. We also co-host the Empire Hub on Thursdays. That is over on her page. So please join us there. She's primarily on X, trying to get her into more video content because she's very talented. Guys, if you're over on the tube, the good old YouTube, my first love, my platform, my first join, remember, take these hands, put this down, click the like button. Okay? Click the good old like button. If you're not subscribed, come on and join the Finance Freeman family. And if you're over on X, retweet the space. Just click the little retweety, okay? Wherever it is. Did it not pop up? Why wouldn't it be popping up? Is it popping up? There we are. Just click the little retweety, right? It's very easy. Very easy. It helps us out a lot. But let's take a look at oil. Let's come over here. But before we get started, guys, just a reminder. I want to say shout out to our stream sponsor, Blowfin. I've had a very good week trading. I got stopped out on an oil trade because of this wick yesterday over a tweet. But you could see it was just momentarily. But, hey, you win some, you lose some. Had a great week trading Bittensor, both long and short. I'm converting everything I made into spot Tau. But that's Blowfin. The QR link's up above. I'll remove the banner now and leave the QR code up for a minute for anyone interested. But it's a good time to say, remember, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I ever say is financial advice. And always do your own research. You don't want to be listening to some ex-chemical engineer dude on the internet anyways, right? Like, who would want to listen to him? I wouldn't even listen to me. My wife don't even listen to me. But I subscribe to this for us. Go over some stuff. It's like $120, $180 a month, something like that. But they have some good stuff. I really like these guys. But oil, we've still got a shock in oil. So just keep in mind, as oil goes up, we're most likely going to see stocks go down. And not just tech stocks, any stocks like that, but anything related around transportation, whether it's the cruise lines, the airlines, any of that will most likely go down. And we want this conflict to be over as soon as possible. But let's take a look at some things in the chart, some of the main charts, and I'll remove the QR code right now, or might put it up a little bit later, but y'all know where to find it, our official stream sponsor. But let's go look. Let's zoom out a little bit. And you can see I've been trading this like a madman, or I was. I kind of stopped. You could see whenever I started trading Tau, my BTC trade stopped. Some good old coffee today. No more energy drinks, guys. I'm working on me. I'm going to get healthy. Let's remove all these little lines and maybe we'll mark the chart up ourselves. But everything's still intact. And I would actually say for as bad as stocks performed this week, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, as bad as it's performed this week, crypto's held up pretty well. Crypto's held up pretty well, which is nice. And so we really don't have any invalidation until we break below this. I know everybody and all the moon boys were screaming we were back when we had this, 15% pump. The chart looks very similar on Kaspa, on a lot of charts that were moving with Bitcoin. And I've remained cautiously optimistic, cautiously optimistic throughout this whole time. And so right now, I still don't see any reason on the chart to not be cautiously optimistic. However, when you come look at the macro and stuff, there's definitely still warning signs, and we're going to get into that. You can see right here, the IEA, that's the International Energy Agency, has issued a warning, and this is just now, like 5 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. The IEA has issued a warning stating that the Iran conflict is one of the greatest threats to global energy in history. And if you want to be like Richard Carpenter with that awesome looking dog, put them thumbs up in the air, guys. Come on. Absolutely love it. Thank you, buddy, for your support. I appreciate it. I truly do. Might help if I open the water bottle. But details include the IEA says it could take 6 months or longer to fully restore oil and gas flows from the Gulf. That's what I was saying earlier in this week. Even if, just on the drop of the dime, everything stopped. No more shots were put off, no more, missiles, no more anything. Everybody was happy. Trump and the Supreme Leader were dancing together and having a good old time. It's still going to take time to repair infrastructure and just to start up a plant. My background's being chemical engineer, so not on the refinery side, but still, I know how long it takes to start up some of these processes. And roughly 18 million barrels of a day of crude oil remain offline. Remember, the Strait of Hormuz accounts for, a good chunk, about 20% of all seaborne oil. So oil that travels over water. Russia's Nord Stream pipelines are not operational, adding further pressure. There is currently no imminent way to replace the supply of oil from the Gulf. And if you look at Brent oil versus, like, I think it's West Texas Intermediate, WTI oil, there was a big price difference yesterday. And that shows you that the oil prices is hurting Europe a lot more than the United States currently. And I think that's why the president went after Venezuela first. Not only is America already energy independent, but Venezuela opens up a lot of oil. And so I want to show this. One thing we want to watch out for is escalation. We definitely don't want this to turn into the number 3 of what. And so we really do not want that to happen. That's not good for anybody. It's not good for anybody. It's not good for markets. And the number one thing I care about is the markets. And obviously, I don't want people to, cease to exist. But I mean, I'm not really political. I just want what's best for markets. That's why I cover the politics side of things. Justin, Putin offers to stop intel to Iran if U.S. cuts off Ukraine. And that's really this funny thing, right? Like, even with the Ukraine thing, like NATO, the U.S. initially very heavily. Now it's mainly NATO and U.S. selling arms to NATO, but they're giving it to, Ukraine. This guy hits you in the face and your buddy gave him, like, a beer mug to hit you with or something. Yeah, that's just an example, right? But it's like, aren't you kind of like a part of that? Like, I wouldn't be getting hit if it wasn't for you, right? It's kind of funny. It's kind of not funny, but it's weird. It's weird. It could definitely cause some conflicts. And then this is Trump right here taking a little jab at China and Russia.
It's amazing. It's not. I don't want to get too crazy here. Not a contest. It's not even a contest. They do whatever they want. They can't. They are They had a lot of great equipment, Russian equipment, Chinese equipment, they had plenty of money. That equipment was useless against us, useless. No force on earth can beat the American sailors or the American military. We're the strongest in the world by far.
See, but we don't want to test that. Now, I think this is taken a little bit out of context. Because he was just talking. If you just listen to the clip, you think he's talking about like China and Russia, but he was just talking about Iran had equipment from China and Russia, and so that's kind of what that goes. Yeah, thumbs up. You're always good to croak and broke. They both rock, man. I can't wait for Kaspa to turn around. And I really hope KRC20 turns around and the run that we are going to make on Croak is going to be epic. Epic. Guarantee it. Well, don't guarantee it. Can't guarantee anything. But I love the idea of it. I'll tell you that. And if KRC20 comes back, you know, the confusion that I have with KRC20 and Kaspa is I'm not technical enough to know all the know-how behind, you know, with VPROGs and KRC20 and EGRA. Do they intertwine? You know, we would have to talk to T-Mac from Croak probably to really get those details. You know, I don't know that, but we're gonna break down the Kaspa chart here in a minute. What's up, boy? Hey, Crypto Empress is coming in a little bit, man. I bet you'll be glad to see her. He's a long-term supporter of both of us. So yeah, Putin offers stop intel to Iran. Let's see what else is going up. So this is something else that I warned about. On Wednesday, we covered the FOMC meeting. And I told you that the Australian bank, the Bank of Australia, actually hiked interest rates, raised interest rates. And whenever we look at interest rates, the Fed's dual mandate in order of controlling interest rates, why they move interest rates, is number one, to control inflation. Okay, we want a target of 2% inflation a year. Currently, the inflation number is at 2.4%. PPI just came in really hot on Tuesday. Okay, that's a red flag. The second thing is maximum employment or low unemployment. Now, we're seeing 4.4, 4.5 unemployment, which is pretty typical. However, I don't think we've seen the full extent of artificial intelligence layoffs. And in fact, one thing I learned is whenever I went full-time crypto, I found out I was trying to find the right time to leave the company because I have health insurance and things like that. You know, I have a disabled son and all that, and then a family. So I'm responsible for healthcare and stuff. And I was trying to find the right time to leave. And they were offering severance packages. And so I raised my hand and I wouldn't have been picked. I was very passionate, a hard worker at what I did as a chemical engineer. But I talked to my boss. I was like, hey, man, I'm wanting to leave. Could we work this out? It would really help my family out. I'll stay as long as you need through this transition period, things like that. And what I found in doing research in that is that if you get laid off and you get given a severance package, you don't hit the unemployment number until that severance package expires. So I was given something like a 6-month or 4-month, I think it was 4-month severance pay package, essentially, and 18 months of healthcare, which that was the main thing I was after. But so basically, I haven't even hit the unemployment numbers yet, right? Which I have a business and all this, so I don't know how that's going to how the numbers really shape out. But what I'm saying is the layoffs that we've seen Jack Dorsey and Block do due to AI, there's rumors that Meta on Facebook is going to be doing mass layoffs, like 25%. You know, it's going to take a long time for those numbers to hit the unemployment numbers. And so then we get into a scenario to where inflation is high and unemployment is high. And I've told y'all, this is like checkmate for the Fed because the Fed will not care about the unemployment. They will crush the inflation, which means raising interest rates because y'all could probably repeat this verbatim now. Recessions reset countries and runaway inflation destroys countries, destroys currencies. take a look at Venezuela, take a look at, all the currencies before that have went through hyperinflation due to money printing. The real reason that the American dollar is so strong is one of two reasons. And we can look at the dollar in a minute. One, it's the petrodollar. So that's a big thing, is being the petrodollar. Number two, meaning that all oil is transacted or is supposed to be in US dollars. And number two is the fact that we're just the worst loser. Like, everybody printed a lot of money. So if I might be extremely slow in a race because I'm fat, but if everybody else is even fatter and slower and I win, does that necessarily mean I'm fast? No, it doesn't. It just means relative to everything else. And so you could see that being true when you take a look at, how more expensive everything is now. So, inflation has eaten at the US dollar, but it's also still the global reserve currency. And it's still one of the strongest, it's up at 100 right now on the DXY. So we can come take a look at that right now. And I think I mentioned this yesterday. High oil is actually a good thing for the US dollar. I'm not saying they're going to want to keep it there because it's bad for the economy. But in terms of the US dollar, and I made a tweet this morning that I can show you. But I'm talking about, everybody's like, hey, we're in these global conflicts right now. Why is gold going down? Isn't it supposed to be the safe haven of the world? Well, if you take a look at this chart, when gold was making that historic run, the US dollar was in free fall. The US dollar has just been dropping for a while. And I think it was intentional. If you look at this going from November of last year, the US dollar went down a lot. It's probably like 6% if we caught these wicks down here. Now it's back up. So I kind of explained it in here why it's crashing. High oil is bullish for the US dollar because if you were paying $50 a barrel for oil, you needed that much US dollars. However, if now it's $100 a barrel, just say you need double the US dollars. That's more demand for the US dollar. And so that strengthens the dollar, the DXY. Gold and silver is supposed to maintain its purchasing power. It's not really supposed to get more valuable. It's just supposed to maintain its purchasing power. That's why if you really want to look at cost of home ownership and things like that, look at it compared to gold. Or if you want to compare Bitcoin's real price, compare it to gold. That's why people in crypto compare things to like ETH BTC charts, because we consider that our store of value. And so you can see, since the US dollar has been going up, the dollars or the gold and metals and store of values have been going down accordingly. And but there's definitely a lot of uncertainty right now in the markets. And I don't think we're done. I think we could potentially have a relief rally next week. If we take a look at this, the market now sees a 50% chance of a U.S. Fed rate hike by the end of 2026. Just months ago, markets saw as many as 4 cuts this year. Now, there's still the big unknown about Kevin Warsh coming in, who is his first meeting should be in June, but it all depends if he's confirmed by Congress. If he's not confirmed, then what happens is, if he's not confirmed by the House by then what's going to happen is Jerome Powell will be the intermediary Federal Reserve chair still, meaning he'll still make the decision. So it could potentially be July or August until he's in there. And so what's leading to this? Oil prices surged to $100+ a barrel. Inflation expectations are rapidly rising with gas prices. Remember, gas prices go into everything, okay? So even if the cost of coffee, manufacturing coffee, stays the same, just transporting coffee alone raises the price of coffee, right? And diesel is going up even more, which is even more pointing towards inflation, because 18-wheelers and any kind of machinery or equipment like that works. Let's check in with some guy. Kaspa fam is legit. Yeah, they are. We're all a happy Kaspa family here. Yeah. I think we're, it could get a little worse for Kaspa. I mean, it could, but I mean, come on, guys. We've been here since 20 cents, right? It's not going negative. I mean, we got to be fairly close. Good morning, brother. Good morning, bro. Good morning, priest. Good morning, all. Yeah, I love it. Man, I love the Finance Freeman family. But I do think it's going to create some good opportunities, which is why my main thing right now, there's only been 2 projects that I bought recently. I bought Spot Tau. Okay. None of this financial advice, just what I'm doing. And then full disclosure, I did partner for a video, but one thing that I acquired was this Air coin. It's been like 7 or 8 months to CTO. They've been grinding. It's like a 1.8 mil market cap right now. And it just reminds me of Turbo when I first found Turbo. So it's really the only meme coin I'm in new. Now I still have a lot of bags from base and all of that I'm just holding. I really love the teams and the devs and stuff. This is not a sponsored AMA, but we are having this AMA this afternoon. And yeah, if y'all would want to join, there's a little $50 giveaway that they're sponsoring, and would absolutely love to have you. It's at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. But you can see that there is fear in the markets. Overall, we are positive for ETF inflows on BTC for the week. For Ethereum, we're negative overall for the week. And if you take a look at Solana's got a lot of inflows, but the Solana ETF never really took off that much. So I don't know if maybe it's so low that people are wanting to step in on that right now or what. But let's go take a look. What do y'all want to look at? We got some Kaspa fam in here. Let's take a look at Kaspa. One thing that I told the guys about in my Discord and I also posted over on X is you can be really simple with trading. You don't have to get too complex. You can get as complex as you want. And it's good. And I can show you some wave counts and things I think about Bittensor Tau here in a minute. But just something very simple like RSI. You can see I put this trend line up here a while back before it ever hit up here. And you can see most of the time when it hits RSI, relative strength index, hits this level, what happens? It goes down and resets. And so I warned people of this with CAS. And if we come over here to Trade and View, I have a chart already built up for it. And we can look. So this is the point where the bulls need to step in. But it looks good, honestly. Like if I'm being honest, the Kaspa chart looks good right now. This is what you want to see, some outperforming of Bitcoin, because if we look at Bitcoin's still in the channel. Okay. Now, with all due respect, this is a longer term channel. This is going back to July of 2025. And we have a breakout of the channel and we are currently retesting the channel. And so the next day, the next hours are going to be a very pivotal moment for us when we're looking at Kaspa. We want to see, do we get this reaction or do we get this reaction? A breakdown, comeback, rejection. Okay. That's what we want to be seeing. So if you wanted to make this chart yourself, and what I'll start doing, I need to make my TradingView account good where I can publish these, where y'all can just go find the same chart that I'm looking at. But this is a logarithmic chart, and this top line is going from July of 2025, and it's just following all the way down. Okay. And so I still, if I had to guess right now with macro, man, I'd love to see it break out. But I also wouldn't mind to see it come down here and double bottom, because if it did a double bottom, I would definitely load my bags more. Y'all know I'm a shark, but I wouldn't mind being a double shark if I could at a very good price. I think my average right now is probably around 5.5 cents. So I'd still be dollar cost averaging down. But let's come look at Tau. I traded the crap out of it this week. I bought. I'll show you what I'm looking at. Okay. So it's the same thing, right? When you take a look, RSI's pegged out. It had a huge run. I posted yesterday a setup. That was a very clean setup. And it preceded a very big run right here. So it ended up running to 311 yesterday, $311. And I posted this on X when it was $252. It broke out, it retested, and then it went up. And it ended up going up 20%, something like that. Massive, especially on a little bit of leverage and stuff. Could easily be a 100% kind of thing. Never financial advice, obviously. But it ended up playing out very good. That's kind of what we're wanting to see with Kaspa right now. How it just showed that we're at this point in Kaspa, the back test, and so we want to see that hold up. And so let's break down this. I want to clear this chart up. I want to take it to the 4-hour time frame and kind of show you how I'm looking at this from a wave count perspective. Okay, I'm looking at this like this: a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. Okay, that's how I'm looking at this right here. And I did like a 3 a.m. short. I didn't have time to put in it was like 3 a.m. I closed it out way too early, but my whole plan with Tau is the chart's going to do what the chart's going to do. So I'm going to trade it, and then I'm going to just add spot Tau with anything I can make. You can see the shorts are heavy on it right now. And so that's a 5-way move. This is very typical. So your wave 4 cannot come past this 1. Okay, that's one of the rules. And your number 3 is typically your largest impulse wave. Okay, and so then what would come next is like an ABC correction, which is where I think we're at currently. And so if we come down to a little lower time frame here, and we come from here, if this is about the low, 273, I could see it come up about 0.5 to 63%, which we could do this math. It could come up as high as like 294. Now, the higher it goes up, typically the harder it'll drop. But what I'm thinking is we see something around this 250. But then that just starts another 5-way move up. And so then the next 5-way move up would look something like this. Like right under that, down, a big pump up to like here, down, and then I think we tag like that. Okay. And if you look at this level, this 400, 411 level, if we come over here, see, I have it charted here too. But if we look at this and we say we come like this, impulse, like this, and then like this. You see, I think it takes us to that resistance line. And just as a trader, I would want to short right there at the end of that 5-way move. But we do have 5 clear waves on this first move. And the good news is that this would be, you have 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so this could be a little bigger. Typically wave 3 is the biggest. But yeah, we just have to see. But I think that would be a pretty good setup, a pretty bullish move. And so we just have to see how it plays out. Obviously, Bitcoin will factor into some of it, but we obviously have a lot of interest in Tau alone, Tau subnets alone. Let's see what's on top today. Shoots. And guys, if y'all didn't get a chance to see the live stream yesterday, I learned a ton. Such a complex ecosystem. I wish I wasn't a full-time content creator and I could just spend the next 5 years of my life studying Bittensor. I can't do that, but I'm extremely bullish on the ecosystem. I want to try to find some subnets. I'm yet to get a subnet, but here's a little clip from it. We're gonna have tomorrow morning. It should be done being edited by then by my guy. We're gonna have it posted on YouTube, the full interview. We'll also have it posted on X with timestamps, so you can click through it wherever you want to go. And then we'll also have more clips coming out next week. But here's just a little clip of him. This gentleman is extremely knowledgeable on Bittensor, and he went all in. Like $1.7 million loan, sold businesses, sold all kinds of stuff to go all in Tau. And from an investment standpoint, he's actually like all in subnets, he was saying. But immediately after this interview, I went into Empress's space and I started chilling Bittensor. I was just so enthusiastic about it. And it was like, that was at the point, it was like 152, right? And then, everybody looked last night and it was like 310. They probably thought I was a genius, not knowing I just got lucky. But no, I'm just joking. But let's listen to this a little bit to give you a little tease.
The future of Bittensor is agents. So at the moment, nearly all of the miners across all the subnets are humans, whether you're a data scientist or a medical scientist, whatever it may be. In the future, if you...
Now, they use the terminology miner, but it's still like a form of proof of stake. They call it proof of intelligence. That's a very confusing thing. A lot of people hear miner and automatically assume, including myself, that it's proof of work. In fact, I know a lot of people that are enthusiastic about Bittensor because they're under the impression that it's proof of work. It's not proof of work, but it's similar tokenomics to Bitcoin. They have a different block time, but I think it's 12 seconds. However, it's still 4-year halvings and all that.
Just extrapolate a very probable outcome. All of the miners will just be agents. And agents, as you know, are better than humans at any task because they work 24/7, especially if it's a self-iterative agent. And I think we're on the cusp of desire to result. So you give an agent, hey, I want you to be the world's best, blah. And then it'll just self-iterate constantly 24/7 until it hits its goal. If it doesn't hit its goal, it'll just keep on going. So I think all the miners of all the different subnets will just be Ralph Loop agents that just deliver way better output than a human researcher or data scientist or whatever. And therefore, the combined cumulative intelligence of Bittensor will then just explode. If Bittensor is growing like this at the moment in terms of cumulative intelligence, once agents really get their hand on it, it's going to be a vertical line. And that's when centralized AI won't have a hope in hell in catching up. The future of Bittensor is agents.
Yeah, so my question there was, what's the argument for decentralized AI versus centralized AI? The biggest competition that I would see is obviously you have huge companies that are, Bittensor's a $3 billion market cap right now, and OpenAI, ChatGPT wants to IPO for, what is it? 800 billion to $1 trillion. So there's obviously a lot of money pushing against it in the same sense that you have big banks fighting stable coins and stablecoin yields. However, I think it'll prevail, and I'm very excited to see the future of it. It's my, somebody clipped a space I was in. This is right after I did that, the Empire Hub space with Empress that I told you that her and I co-host. I was a few minutes late because I was wrapping up the interview, and I'll let y'all listen to this. This is a clip from the space of me talking about Bittensor.
It's the first thing that, and none of this financial advice, but this is the first thing that could, in my opinion, be compared to like the Da Vinci Jeremy moment where he was like, hey, just buy $1 of Bitcoin, and it's It's backed by Barry Silbert, not like connected, but Barry Silbert was very early into Bitcoin, and he created Grayscale.
So you've already got institutional adoption with Grayscale, with ETF talk, things like that.
There's a lot of institutional adoption already with Bittensor and the Tau coin, and it's something that I think could one replace like all AI project. Like that whole crypto project could just be a subnet under Bittensor. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see it be the number one market cap coin.
And I think they kind of cut that up a little bit in the clip. But basically, if you look at Filecoin, which is 600 million market cap, if you look at Akash, which is 800 million market cap, if you look at those, they could actually just be subnets under Bittensor. And so it just shows you the growth potential in this ecosystem. So much enjoying the stream. Hey, bro, that's my goal. I'm not going to lie, man. I started these streams in February, and I was never a streamer. I never did any of that. But, I went full time at the end of the year, and I wanted to do a very professional show. I hired a full-time assistant, essentially. He helps me manage stuff. He can even post clips if I'm not available to post them. He don't ever tweet like me, anything like that. Just posting the clips. He's got administrator access to my accounts. So he's like a full-time employee essentially. And, I got the overlays, was able to get a couple stream sponsors, things like that. We're working on getting another one because this stuff does cost money. I've got about $5,000 a month overhead right now for the business. In a bear market, it's not always the best thing to have, but I'm all in on this. I'm trying to be the number one content creator in the world when it goes into crypto and finance, not just crypto, but finance in general. Sandra, $4.99. Oh, you're so sweet. I really like your hybrid tech analysis trader, long-term investor approach. Do you have advice for new trader tools, courses? Well, one, thank you so much for the super chat. It means a lot. I am coaching my sons. We have a baseball game tonight, a 6-year-old T-ball, and I will use that $5 to buy him a snow cone. So thank you so much. Thank you. It means a lot. Yeah, so I don't give financial advice, but I'll tell you what I did, okay? And maybe this will help out. It depends how deep you want to get into technical analysis. This kind of stuff, I highly recommend not doing it, okay? I recommend learning basic fib levels, okay? Just basic fib levels. And let me show you that real quick. So remember, cryptocurrency is based off of human psychology. Okay, human psychology. That's what it's based off of. And so it really doesn't matter what you're looking at. If you're looking at oil, if you're looking at gold, if you're looking, whatever you're looking at. Now, you do have to think, with like, let's say a meme coin, for instance, it can get, a big KOL tweets about it, and then your technical analysis goes out the window because it goes up, right? Or, the chart's looking one way and this happens or that happens. But I learned a long time ago, the chart knows all. Whatever's happening in the news, it doesn't matter. Like, it might emphasize the chart. It may give a chart an excuse to do what it wants to do. But when you take a look at like the NASDAQ, I went all cash back here, okay, in November. I seen this double top up here and I was just like, I felt like we were overextended, right? And then obviously I felt like a genius down here. Obviously I was like, did I make a mistake right here? But right here, it kind of confirmed to me a double top. And then right here, I drew this line that you could see had been support in the past. And we've now broken below that, okay? And so the two key pieces of advice that or strategies that I would give is, one, just work on trend lines. Okay. Trend lines is extremely simple. If we just come over here and look at something like BTC and we go back long term, I've put a trend line right here before, And this is going back to like $1,600 BTC. Okay. And you can see if you put the trend line there, you can see how many times, even if you drew this trend line way back here in 2019, you could see it respected it here, it respected it here, it respected it here, and now we're kind of breaking below it a little bit, okay? And so that would be one. Just focus on simple trend lines. Number two would be learn Fibonacci levels a little bit. And I share all this in my Discord. The guys know it. And one that I know of that did this is Aircoin. Like for meme coins, for instance, I always look what happened. Why is that like so bright? Okay, whatever. Because I was actually just looking at this chart. Is don't FOMO into things and learn fib levels. Like if you go from swing low to swing high, if you're in my Discord, you know that I always look for the 886 fib level, okay, especially for meme coins. And if you look at that, it's almost like voodoo magic. Like it tagged that level absolutely perfectly, right? If I put this at the swing low, like literally it tagged it perfectly. It's because it's a human psychology, you know, that's what technical analysis is based off of. And now with more developed assets, they won't retrace, or they typically don't retrace this far, you know, so stocks are a little different. If we go over to YouTube, I would consider myself probably B plus to B at technical analysis. If you want to look at Crypto Parrot, I've interviewed him before, actually, the trading parrot. Very good.
I'm going to be absolutely honest. One of the questions I'm getting asked more frequently in the recent...
This guy's very good. Okay. He's very good. There's also a page called More Crypto Online. This guy right here, it's like a no face page, but he just breaks down charts every day. He has member stuff that he does earlier, but
stay in control.
He gets a little more complex. Let me text Empress real quick. She's like, coming, I'm almost done, probably doing her hair and everything. When she gets here, I'm going to be like, hey, we're not even putting you on camera, so don't worry. But no, I'm just joking. But you see, he does a lot of fib levels and wave counts and very complex. So me, I like to watch him as a now to learn. Like I'm still a student of the game. I don't know everything. But yeah, I think trading is something that should be utilized as a tool in order to be an investor. So when I think of investor in crypto, it's, you know, 3 to 12 to 24, 36 months, depending on what it is, right? If it's an altcoin, if it's Bitcoin. Stocks is, you know, 2 to 5 years, 2 to 10 years, you know. When I trade, it's typically pretty short term. I had a good Zcash short earlier in the year and things like that. So that would be my what I would do. Well, the last thing I would do with trading is if you're trading, let's say BTC, and yes, this is Trading View, and then the one for like meme coins, this is Dex Screener, and they just use a form of Trading View, I think. Would be one, you can open up a paper trading account, which is zero of your own money. And another thing is you could start with $10. Because if you can turn $10 into $20, then you can turn 100,000 into 200,000. Like, do not focus on the dollar amount, focus on the percentage gain. And whenever I look at a trade, I never do it in terms of just a good feel about things. Like when we were doing a live stream earlier in the week, let me go to Blowfin. So where I do my trading is Blowfin. They're our stream sponsor, and I can put a QR code up if anyone's interested. But there was a guy that took a trade middle of the week, and he started like kind of freaking out on stream. I think he took a long like right here. And me, I make my trend lines. I let them develop, and you could see all these shorts up here, and you could see closing shorts down here and stuff. I started trading Tau here, so I didn't trade anything. But you're never really going to see me open up a trade here because it's like a coin flip. You're like, okay, I could either go down 7%, I could go up 6%. Like, I mean, that's not a good risk to reward ratio. Versus if, say, we hit down here, even if I think we're going to lose it and go lower, I could have a stop loss that is set, let's say 2% below, but my upside at the least is hitting the top end of the trend line. So if you look at a 2% loss, a 14% gain, that's a 1-to-7 risk to reward ratio. So when I look at that, I could lose multiple trades and still be profitable. And so I think a good trader takes frequent, very small losses, and but the wins, make up for it tenfold. And so thank you very much. I see we have Miss Crypto Empress over in the waiting room. So let me switch over here, bring her up. How are you doing, ma'am? I think you're on mute. I can't hear you.
Sorry, of course I am.
I can hear
Good
you.
morning, everyone. It's your girl, Crypto Empress, bringing the vibes to
Oh my God.
Freeman Show.
Yeah. I showed your page earlier.
You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up.
And it's Friday. Let's
Don't you know?
go.
Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know?
You see?
I'm a
Dude,
freestyle to that.
let's
To that.
go.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. Thank you for the super chat. I will buy my son a snow cone with that. Well, how are you doing, ma'am? How are you doing today?
Man, it's been a busy morning for me. I thought I was going to have like a cool, chill vibe Friday, but oh my God, it's been a busy day for me.
What's been busy? The life, business, the markets? What's
Well,
been-
I do check up on my good friends on Friday, like just to make sure the people I haven't seen lately, like, hey, are you okay? So I did my rounds on that. And then I had a meeting at 10. So I was like, okay, I need to be done by, 10:30. That's why, I came a little late, but
Yeah, you didn't text me asking if I was okay.
because I knew I was going to come here.
No.
Hello. I was going to
Okay,
come
okay.
to the best YouTuber. And I'm telling you guys,
Thumbs up, guys.
he's amazing. But just don't tell him.
Thank you.
Because,
Thank you. Yeah, my head's getting big. No,
Yeah.
I'm joking. I
Yeah,
always
he's
remain
like the
humble.
celebrity when we go on the events. I'm like, hey, can I also get your autograph?
Oh yeah. No, we went to ETH Denver recently, guys. It was a lot of fun. I showed y'all some pictures from it earlier at the beginning of this stream, but make sure y'all go follow Crypto Empress. I showed y'all her X page earlier. On Thursdays, her and I co-host what's called the Empire Hub. It's is this the second or third year that you've done that? Why don't you tell some people about what that space is and what the intent behind that is?
Oh, okay, absolutely. I'm just testing here. So guys, the Empire Hub started a year ago, and literally January we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary. And the Empire Hub, I wanted something to educate the community, like more about like the 101 education. We're seeing a lot of wave of newcomers coming in, and personally I had a bad experience when I came into crypto, and I would never ever want anybody to go through what I went through. So I think for me, my whole purpose of, everybody asks like, what's your goal here at crypto? It's like just to really get people's eyes, first of all, to make sure that they are getting the right information. And in crypto, you have to align yourself with the right people. And I can't express this enough. There's a lot of characters. You see the good and the bad, right? And I really think that education, you could have the best project, but if you're not understanding what that project is trying to tell you, then that's a problem, and that's where we come. And for me, just being up there with a group of friends and kind of sharing information and alpha or things that are happening in crypto brings a lot of joy for me. Like if I could answer people's questions, it makes my day. So that's the Empire Hub. It's been a new series called the Trifecta. Obviously, we've been talking about AI, RWAs, and Deepen. And I have Freeman there, I have William, I have Bradley, Ben, and they all know a lot about this industry. So why not put something together and talk about it so I could also learn and everybody learns at the same time. So it's been a successful show. I have to say, it's been a year, and so far, our engagements within a week, we have reached top numbers, like around 250, almost 400K engagement. And it makes me happy because people are listening to them, maybe not showing up. Maybe we get like 60 to 100 people. And within an hour, we finish with like 400 or 500 people that came in and out. But
in this market too. I mean,
Mhm.
last year it was, really big numbers. I remember.
Yeah, and I think it's also people get discouraged. I mean, you see the market and people are like, "Oh my God, Bitcoin has 69 and it was 120. What happened?" I'm like, "Well, we're still grinding. Like we're still here. Nothing has changed." So we still wake up. Like for us, we still wake up every day and we still do what we came to do, regardless of the market's up or down, right?
Yeah, it's definitely full-time jobs being content creators. I think a lot of people think it's just making a couple posts and doing this and living this good life or something, but I work more now than I ever did, whenever I was a chemical engineer and everything.
I think
And
I put more hours, right? We put more hours
sure.
into. I said, we want the 9 to 5, and no, we wake up either early and then till we go to bed, or
Yeah.
I mean, I feel you. And one thing that we need to learn as content creators is life balance.
Yeah, I struggle with that because I work all the time, but I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get better at that. Well, for anyone that doesn't know you, because we're over on YouTube heavily and also on X, and we got a good amount of people in here. How did you come to making content and becoming crypto empress on X? Well, what was that story like?
That story, ooh. So, guys, I got involved in crypto in 2017, and I can remember my friend Sergio. Shout out to him. He always like, "Give me a shout out." I'm like, "Yes, bro, I'll give you a shout out." 2017, I discovered Shiba. Before anybody, like literally, this guy was telling me, "Hey, just buy a bag. Just go to this exchange where they're launching. Just buy buy a bag." And I'm like, "What's crypto?" He's like, "Trust me, just follow directions." And I did. I follow his directions, and I said, "Okay, what am I willing to lose? Let's see. I don't even know what the hell this is." And I have to say that was before even coming to X. I didn't even know that X was a big deal for crypto. So I ended up buying my bag, and I was at work, and I own tutoring centers. So I come from an education background. So I am an educator. I cater from K to 12, and we used to run this love the kids. I love teaching them, and obviously everybody learns differently. And also my kids, like I always say, like my kids, it's okay. I was a visual learner. I could read a book and still not understand what I was reading, right? So I think for me, when I started seeing that wallet going up, I thought that I was like, dude, this is a glitch. There's no way that I just made more than I have ever made in 1 year, like in couple days. And I kid you not, when I saw the price, I ended up selling because at that time I didn't know anything. I'm like, well, let's see if this is true, and I want to transfer it to my bank.
Yeah, make
And
sure it's real.
it was so real. And when that money hit my bank, I think, it's like winning the lotto. Like, you get that, oh my God, this is crazy. Oh, I want to learn more. I could do this on the side. And no, you could definitely not do that on the side because you're always on the phone. You're always trying to do more research. And then you go on a rabbit hole. And then you know how that goes. And then I realized that I just wanted to learn more about the industry. I don't know what intrigued me. And I could remember around that time when I took my money, I ended up buying first was Litecoin, Ethereum, and I thought it was very expensive for Bitcoin, but I did buy some Bitcoin at that time, and I
What
thought
was it at the time?
10K.
10K.
And between 10 to 13K.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a lot. And Ethereum at that time was only like $30. So of course,
$3?
$30. And
30 bucks?
I ended up putting about 10 to 20K, in investment. Like I'm like, okay, out of sight of mind, who knows? And yeah. And I think ever since then, I just love the high pace environment. It could be stressful, as you could see. A couple white hairs. It does give you white hairs,
Yeah.
right, Freeman?
Yeah, yeah, I got them. I got them. I definitely do.
So I think it's just a combination of, kind of learning as you go. And I really got involved in crypto in 2020, 2021, like during COVID time. I think everybody did. Everybody was bored out of their mind, like, we need to do something. So that's where it came. But I also saw, I come from a marketing background. So I always been in sales marketing. I used to be in retail, used to be a manager. So it's the same thing like that. It's the same thing as building your business here on X. Like, you're building a brand, right? You got to work the brand. And I have to say, if people are looking to be the next content creators, it's not an easy job. But if you do get involved, be authentic, be yourself, and bring value. That's what we need. We need more value in this space, not just BS and exit liquidity. That's what they call it, right? Like exit
Right.
liquidity for people. But really, just genuinely help people that are trying to learn, and you'll be good. You'll be successful if you're passionate about that.
Yeah,
I think.
I think what you said about being authentic is the key thing. We've seen all kinds of, like, we both worked with meme coin projects, utility projects. We've done all of it, but I know you and I do very deep due diligence, turn down the majority of projects, but there's other people that their whole schemes. My little Texas voice.
You're
gets
like
that.
me.
Yes, that SCH, whatever. But their whole thing is, taking any deal and buying supply before, so probably get paid for the deal.
Yeah.
Probably buy supply before and then dump on communities and things like that. And I know both of us have round trip major bags because you don't want to sell, when you're working with the project or something like that. And but that kind of authenticity is what I think allows, like, you hear about multi-cycle crypto projects, but even
Yeah.
multi-cycle crypto influencers, KOLs, content creators, whatever you want to call it, because there's a whole bunch of guys that were only promoting meme coins, and they were doing everything selfishly, selling on their community, doing all this to make as much money as possible. And now, I seen one of them. He asked me the other day, he said, "Do you want medium or large fries when I ordered a burger at McDonald's?" And I was like, "Golly, bro, here you are." No, I'm just joking. But I don't think they have a long track record, and
And some of them are gone. They're not even here anymore. And I feel like the OGs are still here, and you know who they are. So it's like, I guess I'm an OG veteran here in the space. And again, it's a learning curve because there's so much information going, and obviously you got to do research, right? And sometimes research takes a little longer than expected, I guess. And and for me, I'm a overachiever. I want to make sure that I know what the hell I'm talking about before I even introduce it to my community, So,
yeah.
and also, like, aligning myself with people like you, he's funny. I have to say, like, he has made me laugh so hard, but at the same time, he knows how to be serious too. Like, hey, Empress, okay, no joking around. Like, this is what we need to do, or this is what you need to do, And I love that feedback. Who else gives it to you?
Yeah, I think, I heard you say it first. You're the first one. I don't know who you learned it from, but you told me that your network is your net worth,
Mhm.
and I feel like, we're very good friends in real life and on X, and we have a pretty small circle overall, like trusted circle. And I feel like that's key, I really do. Like, whenever we were at ETH Denver, I talk to everybody, guys. I'm a blabbermouth. Like, y'all know, sometimes we'll go 4 hours on this stream and I'm just blah, 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 blah. And my wife will be like, "Mike, you're telling too much about numbers and stuff like that." And, Empress had to tell me, like, "Hey, don't talk about everything to everyone." You know what I mean? Like, not everybody has, because I go into things thinking everybody's genuine, like I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But the truth of the matter is, I don't want to say most people, but a lot of people aren't. A lot of people are self-focused and really are just trying to use you for some way, shape, or form. And so,
Yes.
yeah, I really appreciate that. We got some familiar faces on that you remember on
Boy Space.
YouTube.
And then we have Priest in here.
Yeah, look,
Oh.
Teddy is blurred. I told her Teddy
I
had to be
know.
blurred or I wouldn't let her on here. No, I'm joking. I
I
used to
know.
make fun of her about her dog, but then I seen him, like,
And
actual
now you
pictures
have a
of him.
dog?
He's cute. I have my son's service dog. It's a golden retriever. But I want to know your real net worth, Empress. I can tell you what, it's going down
Priest
in
is
1 month
literally
because
Priest
that's
is the
April's tax
network right
season.
there.
Yeah. Priest is
Don't let
legit.
that guy fool you. He has a lot of money.
Yeah. All of our net worth goes down in tax season. I promise you that.
Oh,
But
God.
hey, so you're
My
very
eye is
focused.
twitching. Why you gotta go there?
I know. We have different trading styles, different investing styles. Maybe not different investing styles, but definitely trading styles. I'll look at these as two different things. Investing is, you DCAing all the way down on Bitcoin because you've got a 3 to 5 to 10 year, 15-year outlook, right? That's totally different than trading. And Sandra left this super chat a little bit earlier, and she said, this was before you hopped in, but she said, I really like your hybrid tech analysis trader / long-term investor approach. Do you have advice for new trader tools and courses? And so I didn't have any courses. I showed some tools and stuff, but what do you, because we look at totally different things. What would, some not financial advice be, but if you were talking to yourself where you first just got into crypto or trying to trade, what are some of the most important things that you look for in a project or maybe even on a chart, and what are kind of your profit taking strategies? Because what a lot of people don't know is that's one of the hardest parts is taking profits. I remember with Turbo, when it hit $1 billion, I thought it was about to pass up Dogecoin. So I'm like moon boying, and then it went down a lot, and I made money, and I also still have some Turbo. But so how would you answer that question from a different point of view?
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to trading, obviously, like for me, I'm more of a long-term investor, to be honest. Like, I know where this industry is going, and I guess like for me, it's like I could see the future, and I seriously, like, I just been accumulating, but I do put my sales strategies, like here. I mean, I work, and this is literally how I pay my bills too. Like I left my real job to do crypto, so obviously you need to pay your bills, you need to pay rent, you got to pay electricity, and all the good stuff. And to be honest, like I just, for me, what works is literally just kind of looking at the charts, obviously doing research, and see when some of those big projects are releasing like their next wave of the staking, when they open up. So you kind of get an idea. It's like, oh well, I want to sell before that, like that opens, so you could not be like your exit liquidity. Obviously it's going to go down and people take profits. But I think like more than anything, I started using Sonar. So Sonar, again, it's like when it comes to different like projects or something like that, like I just need something that works, that it's easy, that I could put strategies out of sight, out of mind. I'm that girl because I have a busy schedule as it is. I can't be trading all day, or I can't be doing all that. So personally for me, it's just like I go to Kraken, for example. Kraken is, I love Kraken. I love that they have also like other ways to make money as like staking. They have a really good APR. They even have Tau, and they're giving like almost 6% to just stake it. I was like, yes, give me that. So for me, it's just kind of having literally a goal, right? So for me, it's like for the month, this is how much I have to take out. So that's my sell, regardless if it's like, up or down. But obviously you do take profits when it's like going up. Like for example, Bitcoin, like I started buying when it went all the way down to, what was it, like 60, 50 something, 58?
Recently?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it
60K. Yeah, we hit 60.
or 58?
Yeah, 58.
So
We almost hit 58. I got front ran because I had an order at 58.1, which was the 200-week simple moving average, and we got front ran a little bit. But I think we're gonna hit it. But But yeah, I know. I see your DCAs. You know, you
No,
send
and
me and
I
post
literally
them.
show people, like, if you go to my accent, I do open buys. Like, I literally tell everybody, like, okay, this is 4 orders that I just opened, and they always hit. So I'm like, okay, I'm onto something. So then I go based on that, and then when it starts running, I start putting my sales right away. Like, I already have all of my trades, so I don't even have to think about it in Kraken. Like, it's the emotional aspect. So a lot of people don't realize it's like you have to have no emotions when it comes to trading, even for meme coins or even for anything. Like, people get so invested in the emotion of, well, what if this goes to the next level, and we have to be realistic because we're here to make money. So you have to take profits within when it's going up, right? So during the year, like, I don't know. For me, it's like I know when to sell. When the markets we see a little this, you always have to have your USDC ready to just buy the dip or make sure that you have a plan. So for me personally, I just love like, I'm old school. I'm here for the long run, but also buy and sell, but at a comfortable levels that I'm like, okay, today I'm just gonna sell $2,000 here for Bitcoin, for example, and I do ask you a lot of questions because you actually do a lot of analytics with charts. And again, like, this is why I tell people you got to align yourself with the right people when it comes to things that you're not familiar with, but you have to learn a little basics, right? And I know that a lot of those platforms have now videos to show you kind of basic stuff, like, hey, what is leveraging, for example, and I think, like, once you kind of understand which strategy you are, I think that's going to be better. And then you could do more research on it. But
Yep.
I personally don't do any leverages. Trust me. I'll forget that I have it open, and I probably, like, I just, yeah. No.
Yeah, no. If you're doing perps, you've got to
Yeah.
be glued to it. You've got to know what you're doing. It's
I have met people that have lost millions of dollars, and I'm like, why would you do that? Like, I don't understand. Like, but again, there's some experts that do really well, but to me personally, that doesn't work for me. I'm more of an old school slow poke. Like, all right, okay, I like to put my strategies where they need to be, but that's okay. I'm okay with that, and so far that strategy has worked for me, and yeah, I do this full time.
yeah, Sonar's great. We'll have them up on stream maybe in a couple weeks. They just made a really good update, and so anyone that doesn't know Sonar, and you can drop your link under this video if you want on X, Empress. But what it is you can set strategies. So you can do, obviously there's DCA where you can DCA out, but you can also set volume strategies. Where if there's a lot of volume coming in, you sell into the volume and things like that. And so it's a very powerful tool, and it's a sit it and forget it kind of tool, right? So if you're somebody that has a full-time job, but you after work, you like to look at charts and try to invest, but whenever you leave the house at 7 a.m., you're not going to be able to look at the chart until you get home, right? You could set different strategies up that operate in the background. And they currently have Base, Ethereum, Solana, BNB. They integrated. Have you used the new version yet? They integrated all different kinds of stable coins. They did a lot of updates recently.
I haven't really, but I definitely need to kind of get back to it. But I mean, I use Sonar a lot more for, like, for long-term projects, like, projects that I just want to put the tokens there and put my strategy so it sells. So what I love about it is that it will never sell if the chart is down. It's only when volume comes in. So I feel like good about taking profits, especially if you're working with projects and say that, you buy your bag or they give you a percent, and again, like, a lot of those things, like, I love to have also, like, what's it called, a strategy for that too, because we still have to work. We have to put the money up front. That's what I say, like, when people give tokens. But I'm just tired of people just dumping on other community members. And the fact that LFG did something about it and say, hey, I'm just going to start this. and it sells literally when volume comes in, and I feel better. I go to sleep feeling great about
Yeah.
it. Like,
And
hey,
you
I
can
just
set
did
a
200
minimum
bucks.
market cap. Yeah. So that
Yeah.
if it dips under the market cap, the strategy pauses. Yeah. It's a very cool, very good system. I love it. I love it. And they have a really good referral program. I hadn't used it for like a month or something like that. You know, I was kind of out of meme coins, and I
Yeah.
looked and I had like $1,000 in Solana on it. I was like, heck yeah, I ain't telling my wife about that. I was like,
Dude,
so
I just checked mine right now. I was like, what? That's me?
I know, man.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, it's
about to do
awesome.
a giveaway. Let's go. Everybody
I'm
knows in my community, when I win, everybody wins.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you definitely have a great community, and also over on X, guys, for Crypto Empress, for the subscribe feature, it's only $3 a month, and she has a wonderful group. It's a Telegram group that you get added into. I always see awesome P&Ls. Now, obviously, it's never financial advice. It's just what she's scouting and stuff like that. But it's like $3 a month, and it's something I'm subscribed to. I think it's definitely a good bargain, but I know we had a lot of fun with meme coins and everything. We're looking at the market now.
Yes.
Bitcoin, I think, is under 70K right now. I can look, yeah, 69.9. So we're trying to get above 70K. I think Ether's at like what, 21.33 right now. We've got oil doing crazy things, and we've got a few meme coins doing good. Obviously, there's some of them. I'm not messing with anything that's just launching. Like, it's got to have a track record and things like that. But what do you think the future is of meme coins? Do you think that it was a one-time fad thing like NFTs were back in 2021?
Absolutely
Or do you think
not.
it's just a factor of the market, and when liquidity comes back, meme coins are going to take off again?
To be honest, it's a culture. Meme coins are not going anywhere. This is kind of like what early adopters kind of know. You also need to kind of have that. It's fun. We love seeing memes, or they launch a token for anything now, and I think that's what made it more saturated and also pump fun. Like, I just feel like before we used to wait for launches and we were like, oh my God, we're going to get early. Let's get the CAA. And we would all wait and waiting for the phone and Uniswap so we could swap right away. That used to be fun. I
Yeah,
don't know.
super high gas fees and
Oh gosh, I remember paying 400 to 500 one time. And that was the last time. I'm like, what an idiot. Why did I
yeah,
do that? But apparently, like,
pre-Solana, yeah, with
y-
Ethereum and everything.
yeah. So I just think that the meme coins are not going anywhere. Only the best ones are going to survive. I mean, some of them are still here kicking, and I just feel like a lot of things are happening. People are scared to put money on just BS, and people are just being more cautious about it. So as we could win, as you could lose. So that's the only thing. It's like the casino. I feel like meme coins are a casino. You never know which one's going to go. And I think bringing back community, like, I mean, the Shiba days, for example, we used to all, I mean, nobody would get paid. People were just excited to talk about the token, and people would just, literally working their bags. And it was a community that we all came together and we would join and support people. And I just want to see more of that. I think that's what's
Yeah.
missing, but also because there's so many people just doing so many things. So everybody's like scattered. But when remember Pepe, when we were all going through a bear market and Pepe came, and it was the only token that everybody was talking about. And that was beautiful to see. Like, yes, you see, we're all together.
Yeah.
We're all talking about this project. And again, Pepe, I have so many memes of Pepe. Like, Pepe's life, like.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely the difference, I think, between NFTs, because people are like, oh, well, last cycle was NFT, or 2 cycles ago was NFTs, last cycle was meme coins. What's going to be next? They're going to go away. And I think it is like the casino, right? And
Yeah.
I look at it no different. I was on a cruise last week and I was playing roulette and I lost money, but I went into it not expecting to make money, right? I went into it trying to have fun. And so that's my same approach with meme coins as well. But the key difference between meme coins and NFTs, in my opinion, are, NFTs weren't really a meme, right? They were this new form of art that really hadn't existed before, right? And then
Yeah.
digital ownership of that is what was new. And I mean, there was, Bored Apes selling for $1 million, crypto punks, all of that. And even those projects are still going to stay around, like Pudgy Penguins, Bored Ape, crypto punks, like those staples aren't going away.
Yeah.
And I personally really loved NFTs. But the thing about meme coins that are different is that, Trump has shared the Pepe meme, and he may not even know that Pepe the meme coin exists, but he shared the meme of Pepe. The same with Bobo, the same of a lot of these, right? And
Yeah.
so it's a culture thing, like you said. I completely agree, and it's not something that's going to go away. In fact, I think it's just going to increase. I think what happens right now is a lot of people got wiped out in the October 10th liquidation event. You didn't, because you don't trade perps, but a lot of people got wiped out with that event during Liberation Day, liberated the leverage out of the trenches.
Yeah.
So that happened, and liquidity's tight right now, right? But I do think when the rotation comes back again, that we are going to have memes come back strong. And what I'm looking for right now is finding those communities that are really long lasting, that's been here. Like I know you talk about packs. They've been around like what, 4 or 5 months now. They're still
Yes.
building in a downtime. Aircoin, I work with them. They've been around for like 7-8 months as a CTO when Solana was 200 and now it's 80. I look
Yeah.
at things like Pingu with the Pudgy Penguin ecosystem.
Yes.
And that's kind of what I'm looking at. Like with Pingu, for instance, it's a first generation, like this is the first cycle for that to be a meme coin. And
Yeah.
then you have the Doge coin, which will always be around. And then you have Shiba, Inu, and those are kind of multi-cycle ones. And I don't think those are going to bring as much attention going forward. So I'm like looking at things like Pingu that are very solid, that have an entire ecosystem built around them. When you look at Luca Nets, when you look at Abstract Chain, when you look at the Pingu NFTs, you look at the Pingu token,
Yeah.
or the Pudgy Penguin NFTs and the Pingu token. Like, I think it's primed to make its next big step into the top 2 maybe meme coins.
And they
Maybe
also have real utility, like literally they're in Walmart. They did
right.
a collaboration with toys and plushies, and I think like this is probably one of the first, I mean, I'm sure the other, but that I could kind of, it really resonates with me is them. Like they have done everything that's maybe a lot of us have heard, like, yeah, we want to do this, we want to do that, but it takes time, and people don't realize like it doesn't take a year. Sometimes you need to do the collaborations, you need to make sure that you have your LLC registration and blah blah blah, just to make sure. And obviously, did you not see that lawsuit that this company was saying, oh, well, you took my logo, and it's like, it was a Temu. Like I was making a joke out of it's like Temu. It's like, dude, that guy, the penguin did not even look
It looked
exactly the
nothing
same.
like it.
But there it goes. It's because this company, I don't know, maybe he's like, oh, maybe there's something here that I could kind of sue or something. But
Yeah, they just see money potential, and it's like a ambulance chaser almost. Like you get in a little fender bender that doesn't even hurt you, and you lay out on the ground, and
like,
you got an
oh, my
ambulance
neck.
chaser calling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny though.
Yeah, and they're all over. I mean, you saw a lot of senates too, or like people from the government changing their PFP too, and
Yeah.
making them that like their PFP. And I have to say, like, it's fun to see like people using it. It's really cute. It's like, who doesn't like a penguin? So it's like it's a relatable to a lot of people. That's what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, I do have a lot. I still have my NFT wallet. I'm thinking that one day I'm just gonna wake up and all my NFTs are gonna come to life and be like, yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
if you're down on them, I don't know what you bought them at. If you're down on them, you could tax loss harvest. If you're down a lot, you just have to see. But yeah, I did good on some NFTs. I did very bad on other NFTs, but I still like them. I truly still.
You
still
want to
like
know what was the highest I have ever sold an NFT? And that was probably like top. It was like 1.5 ETH.
1.5.
And I had a rare one, and I kid you not, I did sell it. And I'm
I
honest.
remember I was at church and I had an offer for 4 ETH for this project. It was called Abstract by Anon, I believe. And it was only like a collection of 100, and it was
Yeah.
like art you would hang on your wall. And I
Yeah.
minted it for 0.03 ETH. And I remember I was at church and I had an offer for 4 ETH. And my wife was like, "Oh my gosh, sell it." And if you think about 0.03 ETH to 4 ETH, like that's 130x, right? Like crazy returns, right? And I
Yeah.
wasn't even on Twitter back then. I was doing all this on my own. I didn't get on Twitter till after I made the YouTube channel. And
So how'd
I
you find out about the NFT?
I just always been into just doing research on my own, YouTube
Oh, okay.
videos, stuff like that. I was always like a connoisseur of YouTube
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
learning about finance and stuff like that. But yeah, I was never in Telegram, Discord groups, nothing. I was just on my own. Found out about OpenSea. I was doing the research there, and like that NFT, I just found on its own. There's also a Goblin Town that's still around. I found that on its own. I bought it. It was like
Oh,
a
I
goblin that
remember
had
that.
talk
Yeah.
as ears. Yeah,
Yeah.
I I bought that one. I still own one, but I ended up capitulating at that art one for like zero point 0.8 ETH or something. So it went down a lot, but I still made good money. And like 6 months ago, I looked at it and it was just like completely gone. There hadn't been a purchase in 8 months or anything like that. But there was rumors that Beeple was behind it. And if you know
Ah.
Beeple, he's a famous NFT X artist for, digital art and stuff. And so that was, I think, the catalyst that was driving it. But personally, I had no idea who Beeple was. Like I wasn't on X or anything like that at the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I didn't get on X until Elon bought it. When Elon bought X, that's when
Oh shoot.
that's
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's whenever I came over to X. But before we wrap up, I do want to ask one thing. So you talked about
Yes.
your community and everything, and you talked about wanting to help people. But
Yes.
what drives you to want to help people so much? Like our friendship started when I think we were on a space you told me with Turbo because I couldn't even remember. But
Yeah.
on X, I had very little value to bring to you. I think I was just a few hundred subscribers. I remember when I found you were at like 76K. I'll never forget, but and you helped me. Like my X journey has been heavily influenced by you, our communities. You've taught me how to do spaces, all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
You've done a lot for my career, especially on X. So what is it that drives you personally to want to help people? And it's not just me, right? I see you do it with a lot of stuff. Your strength is obviously marketing. If you look at my PFP and my banners, Crypto Empress did all that for me. And I was like, hey, I need help with this. Or she told me I needed help with it. And she was like, what do you want? And I was like, I don't know, just take care of it. Just do it. And so that's what she came back with, is what you see today. Me in a suit and the background, the color scheme and all that, right? But you didn't have to do that, obviously.
Yeah.
But at that point we had became friends and worked together a lot and stuff. But initially, you didn't know me from another random bozo, but I've seen you do this with a lot of people. So what is it that inspires you to want to, help up and coming people or anyone that's new to the industry?
Absolutely. Great question, actually. So I always been a people person, like in my whole entire life. And I've been screwed probably a lot of times, but I think it's my dad. My dad is that guy. Like he helps everyone. Even if he doesn't have money, like my dad will give the last $5 to whoever needs it the most. You know what I mean? So I think for me, value. I mean, I come from a Hispanic background. Obviously, my parents are Latinos, Mexicanos, and I think for me, it's like I grew up poor. I didn't have a perfect life growing up. I used to, one time I came crying because I had holes in my shoes and kids were making fun of me. And I was like crying so much. And my dad's like, what's wrong? I was like, people are like making fun of me, because I don't have like regular clothes and my shoes are all ripped. And he's like, he literally just like, don't cry anymore. Like, I will buy you some new shoes, and I promise you that moving forward, you will never have ripped shoes. And put it like this, like my dad, I never saw him or my mom like ever, because I didn't understand as a kid that they were always working, and I do have two other siblings, so it was a party of three, like in them. So it was all girls too, so we were very like, all of us needed clothes and we needed all this stuff. And I just remember that my dad, it always stuck with me that my dad was always like, even if people are cruel or whatever, like you still always have this genuine thing in your heart, because and he kind of explained it to me in a way that it made sense to me as a kid. And I think like ever since then, like I see people as themselves. Like I see people, I don't care where you come from, how much money you have. Trust me, I don't care about that at all. I think for me, people, when they're trying to impress me with good character, impress me with humbleness. How can we help our community, or how can we help people that are not that you know, well off, like, like just, I mean, we have a roof, right? Not everybody has a roof. And I think like for me to travel around the world, one of my blessings has been that I have seen different lives and different worlds. And, I went to India, and I think India really, really stood out to me. Like when people complain about, oh my God, this, oh, I don't have money. I was like, you don't understand like what poverty is. And I think people, like I remember going to Mexico with my grandma, and I was happy just eating my elote, like, oh, this is awesome. And I used to get candy, and I used to just be around like nature. And I just remember that, just, that. And I guess everything that I do in my life, I think it's been a experience, and also how, what they say about good karma, it always comes around. And I feel like that's me. Like I feel like if I do something for people and I'm doing it genuinely, like I don't expect anything from anybody. I just want to do it because I see potential too. Like for example, I love to find talent, but also to help them, like because as a person like that has been in the industry for a long time, I like to give feedback like, hey, be careful with this, because I also care about my community and people that I see like, hey, this person is trying, I want to just boost them. I want to help them in some kind of way, because who knows, what if Freeman, for example, he's just like the rock star, right? He better remember me, be like, oh, Empress, like he better give me a signature too, so I think like when it comes to it, it's just like, we all been there, we all have our struggles. And I think like, not for us to help others, that's the best gift of life, and God. And I mean, I'm spiritual. I always tell people I'm religious, like not hardcore, but I'm a spiritual person. And the way I do things is very different from traditional. And I think for me, it's just like having that good heart really brings more joy to me, like helping people step by step. I could take hours talking to someone and explain things. And again, like Eat Denver, for example, like the moment people hear about Crypto Empress, somehow they become like different person. And I was like, well, I'm still human. Like, guys, like we could have a conversation. I love to connect, and let's see if we vibe. I don't vibe with everybody, and maybe it comes from experience. And but yeah, I think that that's where it comes, and I want to keep it the same. I want to leave a legacy where I could help others, and also like educate with my friends. Like, why not? Like, we could all win and sit in the same table together. There's no, like, nobody's competing here. Like, I know there's a lot of competition out there, but I'm not one of them. Take me out of your I don't want to compete. I'd rather give you the crown and you do it. But for me, it's different. Like eventually when things come out, I want to do like a charity or something where I could actually help others. And even buying shoes. I used to do that with churches. We used to go to Mexico and, get like piñatas and candy, and kids were so happy because they had something, like
Yeah.
to look forward. And I think like a lot of us here, we don't appreciate what we have,
We
and I
don't.
think that's kind of my whole foundation. And I think when I do things, I do it from my heart and I genuinely care.
Yeah. And you never do stuff like you said, expecting something in return, or sometimes people will do something, and like God always says, or it says it in the Bible, something around, God wants a cheerful giver, right? Not somebody that's doing it because they feel like they have to do it or anything like that. But I do think friendship should be mutually beneficial. The receiving end should try to help out where they can and things like that as well. You mentioned some donations to churches and things like that, but haven't you been involved with the women's organization before as well?
Yes.
What
So
is
when
that? Can you tell us a little
and
bit about that?
Absolutely. So, when I came in, like it was pretty. Let's put it this way: there was not a lot of women in crypto, so it was a very male dominant place. And I was trying to find girls, and there was nobody, and nobody was docs either. And some girls had men PFP because, that's how crazy it was before. Like women were not just, I don't want to say not respected, to be honest, because there was a lot of mean guys. Mean guys. I got called all the names on the book, and I was like, I'm tired of this. We need to find our little our tribe, right? So I did something about it, and I'm that kind of girl. Like if I see something missing in the space, I'll go create it myself. I'll be like, oh, whatever. Let's see what it is. So I started this brand called Boss Girls. Boss Girls literally was an idea because I wanted people to feel comfortable to ask questions. And one time I went up to a stage and asked basic questions like what was Uniswap and slippage, and they looked at me like this, like I was trolling, or they just called me like I'm an idiot or whatever, and they kicked me out. They booted me out. And obviously I was genuinely trying to just maybe get some friends and maybe somebody to help me.
Trying to learn. I mean, yeah, everybody starts somewhere.
And I think like for me, it's like, oh, I have to see a YouTube. But I just thought that maybe somebody could just, hey, yeah, absolutely. Let me help you. No, it was the opposite. So created Boss Girls, and we started our own shows. And kid you not, it started from 5 and then it grew to like 10, 15, 20, 50 people. And there was something there, and there was more girls coming out like, hey, I love what you're doing. Can I join your space? I'm like, yeah, come. And then I had a project called Delta Flare back in the day, and they had the most incredible NFTs, like incredible. Obviously, running a business is not cheap in crypto. So I just remember that he wanted to do a new collection. He's like, hey, you're like the girl that everybody keeps talking about. You're like the woman in Web3. And I want to do an NFT collection with you. And I said, oh my God, are you serious? And I was pretty much like, I wasn't big in crypto. Like I wasn't anybody. Like, and he said, yeah, I just love what you're doing, and I think we will do good. So I said, okay, let's do it. And he's like, okay. And then the payment, obviously there's gonna collaboration kind of a deal. And I said, all I want for this payment is that I recently lost a friend to ovarian cancer, and I was very devastated, but I guess I want to remember her in a way that I think she will be proud. And I said that whatever we made, 50% was going to go to charity, to the Ovarian Cancer Research Alliance. And, it was a 250, no, sorry, no. 888 collections of NFTs. And there was a symbol, was it 818 or 88? I don't recall, but anyways, I was so scared because I was like, man, what if they don't sell? And I was like putting all this pressure because I'm like, what if it doesn't sell? And here's my reputation and everybody's seeing me. So we went on stage and we had a literally like, hey, we're going to be live. It was going live pretty soon. I kid you not. I have never felt so accomplished that day that we sold out in 18 minutes. Like
Wow,
literally
18 minutes?
18.
Wow.
So it was 818. And there was my sign because we sold out in 18 minutes. So I felt like, oh gosh, numbers. God is here with me. Like I was just like, oh my God, everything's working out. And I just remember my friend, like the main guy saying, hey, it's sold out, Josh. It's sold out, guys. 18 minutes. Holy shit. This is probably the fastest one. And my soul left. Like, I was so happy, but I was so nervous too. And I just remember like that feeling of accomplishment. And he said, and we're gonna donate. He was doing it all live. He donated with giving blocks because they will match us. So technically we did 35K
Wow.
to, and then they matched us. So I felt so accomplished. Like, wow, we just did that in a couple minutes, 18 minutes. And then half of that went to obviously the development of the project and everything. And then he said like anybody that buys and sells or like those fees will go back to the ovarian cancer. So for 2 years we did that. And I think like overall in total we have raised over 100K to give back to the Ovarian Cancer Research Alliance. And we were in their website. We were doing spaces with them, and I just felt good. You know, that's what I mean about helping not just yourself, but also like humanity, like other people that, you know, when people find out that they have like cancer, stage 4, um, holy moly, that I can't even imagine what people are going through. Like they go through so many emotions, so many things. Like, oh my God, I have a limited time, and see my friend go through that. It was very devastating. And a lot of people don't have money to go to counseling or all of
Yeah.
it. This charity provides all of that support all the way. And I felt good that I was able to donate that with crypto, with NFTs, the pink ladies. They're so beautiful. If you go to the Boss Girls, they were so beautiful. And I just like, even to this day, I'm like, oh, I wish I could bring them back, but it's like another.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. It just shows your type of character, because you could ask for half that money and pocketed 35 grand, you know?
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
so that says a lot, guys. We'll post this on its own, and I'll leave all of Empress's information down below. Crypto Empress, is there any last things you would like to say to the Finance Freeman family before we log off? I already shared where to find you, Crypto Empress X, or anything else you have going on or planned.
Yes. Come to our Empire Hubs, guys, every Thursday at 12 p.m. PST. Literally, it's a place where we talk about alpha, the gems, people that are really doing the research, and great YouTubers like Freeman, William, Bradley, and Ben. So sometimes, like, I just feel like get educated. Knowledge is a powerful tool. Now we have everything in the tip of our fingers, right? Stop being lazy. I feel like a lot of us, or a lot of people, are still lazy to do research. But in order for you to really succeed in this industry, you really have to get educated. And there's literally projects for you long term if you're looking for, I mean, there's everything, right? But my focus right now is the trifecta. I really think that we're moving into a very different kind of ordeal here. Like, people are getting more serious about this. We're seeing big institutions coming in now, and you don't want to be here after the institutions. You want to be here before the institution.
You don't want to be, you don't want to be the exit liquidity. Yeah.
Exactly. So I just tell people, like, just get involved with the right people. Freeman is the perfect example, like, who, yes, come to the mornings, listen to what he has to say. Just get out there and learn, you know, and don't think that you know it all. Trust me, that's a very bad mentality to have. Always have an open mind, and don't be scared to ask questions. There's never no wrong or dumb question, let me tell you. So we always embrace all of that. And obviously, we want our family to be successful too. So we want to make sure that we're guiding you to the right path for success, not like, you know, when you come in and you're like, well, I don't know, where do I start? You should never have that feeling. Like, we want to help as much as possible. If I don't know the answer, I could go to my network or my friends and be like, hey, I have this person that really needs guidance. Can you help? And they always do. So just
100%.
100, you know, get out there and learn. Like, share your, what did they say? Live your dream and share your passion. And that's
I like it.
what they always do.
I might get that tattooed on me. Live your dream and share your passion.
Life is too short.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming on Finance Freeman live stream today, guys. Whenever we go back to the other screen. I'll go through Empress's for her ex again. And then that clip I showed earlier was actually a clip. I don't know if you've seen it. Somebody clipped a portion of the
Empire Hub?
space yesterday. Did
Yeah,
you
yeah,
see
I
that?
saw. I just I retweeted it this because before I went to my meet, but I haven't really heard it. So I'm gonna.
Okay, yeah, I listened to it. It's pretty cool. It's the first time I ever seen a clipped space. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's very knowledge based. Like we're at a time in crypto right now where we see the drive for like Bittensor Tau right now for decentralized artificial intelligence. We know there's a ton of compute needed. So that's where DPIN comes in. And the Empire Hub that we host on Thursdays together is very educational focused. And I truly believe those are two of probably out of three. I think privacy is also going to be in there, but I
Yeah.
think those two narratives are going to be two of the largest ones going forward, because I think we're done with the time of speculation and, oh, this might do this, or we're buying this just because of this narrative. Like the AI run that we had a couple years ago was because of the AI hype, but nothing really was functioning, applications at the time. Whereas now we actually have these businesses or crypto projects that are generating revenue and they're actually real world use cases and stuff. So, Miss Crypto Empress, thank you very much for coming on. We will talk later. Tell Teddy I said hi.
I will. I will.
All right.
It's nice
Bye-bye.
seeing you, all of you guys.
Bye-bye. What a gem. She is so good. She is so good. Let me see, guys. Let me come over here. I'll show you her stuff one more time. Right over here, Crypto Empress. We have the same management team, actually, Connect. And this, for instance, was the space yesterday. And so co-hosted by me and William. And then these gentlemen are very intelligent. DPIN, very much into DPIN projects. Obviously, look at his name. And then Ben Crypto Show, very nice guy. He's a full spectrum, everything from meme coins to utility coins, very educational. And Empress just works to bring everyone together. And she's also a funny follow. Why am I so broke? Your dog's wig has been delivered, because she's, is that AI? That's got to be. Calm down, Grok. Yeah. Balenciaga bag, the cycle. We're so back. It's so over. We're so back. It's so over. Very, very funny. And she always supports retweets and everything. So she's awesome, guys. So let's look at what do we have to watch going into market close today, so that we can know what is going to happen. Let's see. Let me remove this real quick because I have it on the other chart. Okay, so if we look at Tau, currently 269. I like this 240 level, but I'm all about getting more spot Tau and trading Tau since it's got a lot of interest and volatility right now. This currently on the daily, could be getting a little bit of. This isn't MACD, but you can still look at it the same way, kind of as a bull cross right here and a bear cross right here. You can look at it. It functions about the same. If we come over here and we look at CAS, we'll see how CAS is looking. So this all happened while we were in the stream. And so if we look at this right here, this was the trend line, 10-month trend line. We came up here, we broke out, and now we're back above it. We want to make sure we stay above this. We would really want to close the day above that. I showed y'all earlier an example of what I posted last night for, and she just retweeted. It'll probably be easiest to find it there. What she retweeted of me posting this right here. And look, it looks eerie similar to this Kaspa chart. You see how the Kaspa chart, how if you take a look, it kind of faked out breaking back in, and if we look right here, the same thing kind of happened yesterday with Bittensor. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we are getting ready for a run. I would love nothing more. I just think we should be cautiously optimistic with an emphasis on caution. So protect yourself, especially if you're trading. We got oil right here. This is a big one, coming up to the $100 level right here. Oil going up, it's going to drive inflation up. It's going to limit the Fed's ability to cut interest rates, okay? Or at least it should. It's how it typically would work. If we come over here and we look at the NASDAQ, and this is all over on Blowfin, guys. This is our stream sponsor where I do all my trading. And I mean, I've been trading a ton. So if anyone's interested, I think they are very, very good people. But you can see this is the hourly chart. And look at the Qs. And it's just an inverse. You've seen oil going up, and oil went up, and the Qs just dropped, you know. Getting over here to the daily 4 hour. Yeah, we're pretty low on RSI right here. So, which we swept this level right here. So we're seeing maybe we get a run up into close. I'll have to take a look at that. And we've also got the Aircoin AMA. That's what I mean. This has been a CTO for 6 months. Back here, Solana was like 240. And right here, Solana is like $80. And the team's still here. The team's working. The community has locked up on their own 40% of the supply. I've got a full detailed review on this project, and we're going to have the AMA starting in just about 1 hour, guys. So definitely recommend coming to take a look. If you don't follow us over on YouTube, highly would appreciate it. I was going to say highly recommend it, but then that sounds like I'm like, too into myself, but highly recommend that. And then also, if you don't follow us over on X, I would greatly appreciate it if you did. But guys, that's it. Let's watch that stuff over the weekend. Shout out to Sandra one more time for the super chat. It will buy my son snow cone tonight. So I love you all. Have a wonderful weekend. See you on Monday.